Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum. Let's talk about interpersonal communication skills after the intro. Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to my channel, The Nervous Speaker. Thank you so much for your support, especially to our dear subscribers. Anyway, as promised, eto na yung part 2 ng video natin entitled Don't Just Talk, yung Your Way to Mastering Interpersonal Communication Skills. So, sa first video natin, part 1, we talked about yung first 5. Diba? Sinabi ko sa inyo, there are 12 skills that you need to learn, relearn, and master to improve your interpersonal interaction. So, let's just do a recap. Yung first 5 is yung NVC, nonverbal communication, yung reinforcement, yung questioning skill, and then you have also the reflecting skill, and the last one is the opening and closing skill. So this time, let's talk about the remaining skills. Yung 7 skills ang i-discuss natin. So let's start with number 6, which is the listening skill. Listening skill, as we all know, is crucial sa interaction, sa communication natin. Why? Most of us believe that listening is passive, that it cannot be, it's not a skill. It's actually a learned skill. Why? Kasi nga, maybe we get used to listening that we think it's just a natural behavior. When in fact, it is a learned skill. So therefore, if you have poor listening habits, you can still improve that. So there are 2 major steps that you can do to improve your active listening. Because whether we like it or not, listening is the core of communication. It's the central core of communication. Sabi pa nga nila, if you cannot listen, you cannot relate. Oh, 'di ba? So ganun siya ka-importante. So, how can you improve your listening skill? To be an active listener, first, yung step 1 is you have to identify your distractions. What are the things that distracts you easily from listening attentively to your kausap, kung sino man kinakausap mo? So, after you have identified it, move on to the next step, which is you adopt or practice behavior that will help you reduce those distractions. So, example, if you are easily distracted, for example, in listening because you're hungry, and therefore, every time you attend a gathering in which you need to listen, you go there with a full stomach. Ibig sabihin, nakakain ka talaga. Para at least you can really listen very well. Or kung minsan, another distraction is yung mga personal biases natin. Di ba kung minsan, if we don't like the speaker or we don't like the subject being talked about, we tend to zone out automatically. Nagsha-shutdown yung brain natin. We refused to listen. Siguro it's about time that you ask yourself, bakit ba ayaw mo sa taong yan? Bakit ayaw mo pinag-usapan yung mga issues na yan? Diba? So, kinakailangan kasi, you have to have an open mind para at least ma-absorb mo kung ano yung pinag-uusapan. So, even if you don't like the person, if the message is really good, then listen. You will pick 1 or 2, diba? Values o kaya things that will keep you or grow, to make you grow to be a better person. So, yun siya guys, ang listening. Number 7 skill is influencing. So, how good are you in persuading people to accept your ideas? Kasi when you persuade people, you present your idea, right? And yung purpose is for them to accept your idea. Now, there are 3 things that you need to consider when you present or when you persuade someone. First is correctness. Second is clarity. Third is appeal. So, when we say correctness, whenever you present an idea, or how you feel, you have to ask yourself, is this correct? Is this reasonable? So, importante yun siya. So, for example, isa kang guest speaker. So, tapos yung target audience mo is say, elementary learners na graduate ng grade 6. So, ano sa palagay mo ang tema or subject matter mo sa speech mo? So, you need to think about appropriate topic. Ano yung mga interest nila? Ano yung relatable sa kanila? You cannot talk about things that are too complex kasi hindi naman yun siya. Yeah, it is true, pero they cannot relate to that. Masyado kang advanced, Charis. Okay. Number 2, clarity. Yung clarity kasi, kahit gaano pa kaganda yung message mo. 'Di ba? Kung why klaro, kaya you talk to them, parang bugto-bugto, hindi clear. Wala rin. The idea is buried. So, how can you be clear? First, siguro, pinaka-importante, you speak in a simple language that is understandable, both to you and, syempre, sa kausap mo. Kasi there's no need to impress. Even if sabihin na natin, mataas na talagang pinag-aralan mo, you know so many things about it. Pero, you try to use a language that is clear, relatable, sa kausap mo. Ganun lang yun. Do not give issues that are too complex to be digested. Mahirap yun. Especially, kinoconsider mo rin yung time, ganyan. For example, ikaw yung pinaka-third speaker. Mag-start ka sa 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So, see to it, isi-shorten mo na yung speech mo. Tapos, if ever you will give lecture, medyo light na, hindi na complex. Kasi di sila they cannot digest it anymore. Hatay na to, kaya na sila or yahapdi na sila. The third one is appeal. To be able to persuade, your speech or your message should appeal not just to the mind, but to the heart, Charis. So it should move emotion para they can act upon it. So, paano ba sila moved? Then dapat, it should be relatable. There should be a sense of urgency. They should see that it is significant, that it is good for them. It should be beneficial for them. Kasi they will not do anything about it if it does not benefit them. Kahit pa maganda yung message mo. Diba? So, yan siya guys. That's persuading. So, number 8, we have assertiveness. Ano yung assertiveness? Before kasi, parang it's okay to say no. Pero ngayon, meron na for how many years, pina-practice na talaga ngayon na parang we encourage people to be more assertive, to say what they think, to say how they feel, yung really how they feel, what they think about certain issues, calmly. Yun. When you say being assertive, calmly and clearly, hindi ka violent. And at the same time, you also expect others to say their piece. So it's a two-way process. If you want to be assertive, then you need to acknowledge that your truth is not necessarily the absolute truth. Cherries. So yun siya guys. So sa assertive behavior, kasi when you talk, it's really very important sa interaction natin. You should have a social understanding of the people around you. So syempre, you will look at their behavior, di ba? Now, there are 6 levels. There are 6 types of assertion sa behavior. Pero, we can divide it into 2 levels. Yung first 3 is yung low level of assertion. The last 3, remaining 3 is yung high level of assertion. So, let's talk first about yung low level. Pag sinabing low level, ito na yung basic, responsive, and empathetic. So, say for example, sa basic, yung you assert yourself. You tell them what they want, what you need. You tell them how you feel. So, that's basic. And in pag-responsive, you respond to what he needs, to what the other person needs, to what the other person wants, to how he feels about certain issues. So, medyo okay na siya, nag-respond ka. So, third, empathetic, you recognize. So, this time, you acknowledge that it's not just about you. It's not just about your needs. Importante din, equally important din yung needs niya, yung wants niya, yung feelings niya. So, that's empathetic assertion. Medyo, ano siya talaga, very selfless. Yun. Doon sa high level of assertion, medyo a little bit masyado kang na talaga dito. Yung sa first, sa high level, is discrepancy assertion. Pag sinabing discrepancy assertion, you will tell the other person what you think should happen and what is the reality. Example, meron kayong group task, tapos you were given an assigned task. And then the time came, nag-meet na kayo, and then you found out that someone in your group did not complete the task given to her. So ikaw, you will use the discrepancy assertion, will call out that person. Sabihin mo, oh, sana, if you only did what was assigned to you, we should have submitted our task today. We can submit it today. But since wala kang ginawa, ewan ko kung ano yung ginawa mo, wala, we cannot submit it. So, kino-call out mo siya. Kung ano yung dapat and kung ano yung sana yung dapat nangyari. Pero ito yung nangyayari. And then yung number 2, high level of assertion is yung negative feelings. So, yung negative feelings, medyo personal ang attack mo. So, you tell the other person na yan, hindi mo ginawa yung task mo. Diba lahat naman tayo were given a task? So, you actually openly tell the person how you feel about it. Negative feelings. So, that's negative feelings assertion. Then the third, yung pinaka-high level of assertion is consequence assertion. Yung sa consequence assertion, you tell the other person, ganito lang gagawin natin. We will give you 1 day to do your task. If you cannot complete it tomorrow, we will remove you from our group. So, binigyan mo na agad siya ng conditions. So, this is what you will do. Hindi mo magawa, ito yung consequence. Now, kung iisipin nyo guys, try to look back at your previous interactions. Diba kung minsan parang you don't get what you expected. Especially pag mag-group ganyan, meron kayong collaboration. Usually, saan kayo doon? Doon ba kayo sa first, sa basic, sa responsive, o kaya sa empathetic? Or baka diretso ka na agad doon sa consequence? Karamihan kasi sa atin, we're so guilty. Instead of going through yung sa low level, diretso na tayo agad sa high level. It's either doon ka na sa negative, o kaya doon sa discrepancy, o kaya doon agad sa consequence. Magbe-blame ka na agad, 'di ba? Tapos bukaon mo na yung tao, tine-threaten mo na. So yan siya, karamihan sa atin. So siguro it's about time that we need to hinay-hinay lang, kalma lang. Ako din, kung minsan, I'm so guilty about this. Pero I'm so glad that I teach this subject and I've really learned a lot. So, parang nagme-mellow ng konti in babo niyo. Anyway, that's about assertiveness. Okay? So, number 4, we have yung tinatawag nilang humor. Why is humor important in interpersonal communication? Yes, it is important because it makes life lighter, 'di ba? Alam naman parati kayong seryoso. Kung minsan, you need to loosen up. You can use humor in your interpersonal interaction as a way to get the interest of your audience or your listener. Or, kung minsan, kung medyo heavy na yung pag-uusapan, lagyan mo ng konting joke, medyo nababalance out siya. So, importante yung humor sa interpersonal communication. Diba? And then, you have number 10, we have yung tinatawag nilang group interaction and leadership. Sa group interaction and leadership, this is really very important. Yung tinatawag nilang collaboration, teamwork, yan. Sa group interaction, dapat walang bida-bida. Everyone is equal. So, if there is a task, first is, you need to know, recognize, what are your common goals. So, yung goals, you work on that. You do not attack the person. If meron mang pagkakamali sa group interaction, you talk through it. Kumbaga, pag-uusapan ninyo kung ano yung mali, kung ano yung nagawa, but not attacking the person. Kasi kung minsan, meron tayong mga group task ganyan, and we cannot avoid this. Medyo nagiging personal tayo. So siguro, ikaw na mismo yung parang you put boundaries to yourself, right? Kung ano yung pwede mong sabihin sa isang tao, always put yourself, be more empathetic. And then yung leadership naman. Leadership is important in the sense sa interactional communication natin. Sa interpersonal communication natin. Being a leader means not being in charge, but you take charge of the people around you. So, anong pagkakaiba? Pag ikaw yung leader, you take charge. Ibig sabihin, you take care of these people. So, lahat sila. Hindi ka pwedeng maging selective. Everyone's opinion should be validated. So, papasok doon ang tinatawag nating supportive communication sa leadership. Why? When you say supportive communication, kahit pa yung sabihin mo na siya yung pinaka-list na hindi matalino, you need to listen to his opinion. And you need to validate na yeah, that is his idea. And yes, we will see what we can do about it. Importante yan. Kasi yung validation kasi very important sa isang tao. Kung ikaw yung leader, hindi mo binavalidate yung member mo, what happens? Nawawala yung trust. Siyempre, mag-withdraw yung members na parang, kasal din kabayan niya radyo maakad. O, i-deal na lang kanya nakatan. So, what happens? Kahit pag-gaano kaganda yung parang kung it's a collaboration, mas maganda pa rin. Sabi pa nga nila, 2 heads is better than 1. Tama? Number 11, self-disclosure. Eto. We're so guilty about this. How far are you going to share about yourself to people around you? To what extent? Remember, when you communicate, you disclose something about you. So, maraming nag-aaway-away because wala tayong preno sa mga sinishare natin. Kaya sabi nila, even sa social media, di ba? Kung ano yung sinishare mo, akala ng tao, they will assume, yun ang reality mo. And in fact, it's just, parang lang yan siya. Nandun lang, parang icing lang sa cake, ika nga. So, be very careful with what you share. So, self-disclosure means you disclose something about you in your communication interaction, and at the same time, ikaw mismo, you need to protect yourself because you decide for yourself. How far are you going to self-disclose? So, if it's too personal, then I guess common sense, you don't tell people about it. Siguro you can share to selective few, yung mga friends mo talaga na tested and proven through the years. Diba? Kaya ako minsan, some of us, we get annoyed. I don't know Parang, hindi naman annoyed, masyadong strong. Parang, ma-amaze ka sa isang tao na parang kakilala mo lang, tapos ang dami na nang sinishare sa'yo. So parang ikaw na-overwhelmed ka, na parang, my God, ano na kaya ang i-share ko? Parang, pag hindi naman ako mag-share, baka sasabihin niya masyado akong stiff. I'm not saying na you should be stiff, but what I'm saying is, hinay-hinay lang, kalma ka lang sa interaction mo. And then we have the last. This is the 12th skill, but before we will discuss that, allow me to thank everyone who is here with us. Thank you so much, guys, for your time and consideration to watch this video. Thank you so much, guys. And if you're new to this channel, click that subscribe button so that you can be notified sa next upload natin. I'm really very sure that if you take this to heart, you'll learn a lot of things, especially in effective communication sa videos natin. Number 12, explanation skill. Okay, how good are you in explaining things? Can you explain complex things in a simpler language? Para mas maintindihan, mas relatable sa audience mo. Kasi most of us when you are asked to explain, you can either describe, you can rate, you can give definition, di ba? Kung minsan, you compare and contrast, gano'n, you do that. Just to explain a concept or an idea sa kausap mo. Pero, how good are you in explaining things? So, eto na lang yun, guys. Para sa akin, it would be good if, pag mag-explain ka, pwedeng you can use yung synonyms or yung antonyms. Kung ano yung kablektaran nun, by the way, kung ano yung opposite nun, kung ano yung similar doon, or you can also give a description. But always, at the core, use simple language when you explain. Especially, syempre, depende sa audience mo. Especially pag ang kausap mo is medyo mas mataas yung pinag-aralan mo kaysa sa kanya. So, importante yun. Second, when you explain, make it brief. Kung minsan, we don't like to listen to people who who talk too much. Kasi parang, my God, wala na bang katapusan ang explanation niya? Parang, ano akala mo sa amin? Are we an idiot or something? So, make it brief. I mean, be respectful naman of your audience. Na-explain mo na, ayaw mo na balik-balik eh. Bukod ko parang sirang plaka. So, ganun siya. So, yun siya guys. We have the 12 skills. I'm done with the 12 skills that you need to learn, relearn, and master in your interpersonal communication interaction. I hope you will use this in your next conversation, inshallah. And inshallah, ma-improve yung mga interaction nyo. Promise. Thank you so much for watching and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Goodbye.